This will be our third or fourth aesthetics in a row.
Yeah.
You sound really excited about that. We are moving again to the Nike City Connect collection as the Baltimore Orioles have released their new third jerseys, essentially. An interesting,
Yes.
not different. I don't know, a little bit different take on something we've seen many times. It is an all black uniform once again. That has been the theme. Cincinnati just released last week. They're all black uniforms, black hats, black jerseys, black pants. I think this would be the fourth City Connect uniform in a row with black pants, as the Mariners and the Rangers have that, which are two of the reasons I didn't really like those uniforms as much. But the Orioles, again, right on the heels of the Reds, and maybe I wouldn't react so negatively to this if they had been spaced out a little better. Potentially, they would have been more well received, but these are pretty boring if you ask me.
Sorry, I'm having a power issue over here. If you're looking at me in the background, I
Yeah, you're all
apologize.
right over there.
Yeah, it's all taken care of.
All right.
Yeah,
I
continue.
I
Sorry.
thought you were digging for props back there or something.
I have an Orioles jersey.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had one there. You loved it so much you had to go out and buy one already.
I felt like anyone who's watching on YouTube or somewhere
Or
and
Facebook.
like you, I just had to explain what was happening. This
Thank
whole
you.
time I thought my power source was plugged in. I wasn't even paying attention and it was not.
This
So
seems to be a reoccurring theme. Maybe we'll do a segment. Is Pete plugged in?
yes, you should check before the podcast
Yeah, I
starts.
should. Well,
All
I think
right,
you've got
sorry.
the description there.
I do.
These are always amusing to us
Uh,
as Nike gets very verbose on their
yeah.
descriptions and giving all sorts of meaning to meaningless things. But let's see
Yeah,
how they did with the Orioles.
I gotta say too, real quick before we get started, that I gotta agree with you. Like, it, if ever there's been a phoned in version of a City Connect jersey,
Mm,
like this is the one I would definitely call that. But let's get into it.
okay.
And I'm going to go through this document that Smitty so graciously sent. It's basically the in order from top to bottom. So the first thing that they start off with explanation wise is the uniform. From the outside, it looks all black and white. You can't see what you're not looking for. Threaded from the artistic tapestry of our city, the pellet is like our people, colorful, vibrant, and quirky.
Okay. See, it's an all black uniform, but there are colors that are like underneath, like inside the jersey, like a weird, like they said, a tapestry, which is a weird thing to do because I don't think you'll even see it necessarily on the field.
Yeah, I
It's just going to
mean,
look like a big black and white uniform.
yeah, this goes back to my like they have been putting these little touches that are like inside the collar and things like that. Like I guess that's great if you own the jersey and you're putting it
Yeah.
on, but
Well, and
for
that's
presentation to the people, like in a game, no one's gonna know this.
yeah.
And this is a city of firsts. If you know our history, then you know Baltimore has pioneered many of America's finest inventors.
No,
So it comes as no surprise, or inventions, excuse me. So it comes as no surprise. We are the first MLB team to design the inside of our jersey. So that's their, so they don't want to put this like rainbowish color palette on the outside of the jersey because they know they probably wouldn't sell any. So inside the jersey, where no one can see it during the game, is a vibrant color palette.
yeah. I'm again, we're not familiar with the history. We're not from Baltimore. But again, this is not meant for us, two middle-aged white dudes. Um, so I it might work in the city itself. You know, we're not
Yes.
tuned into that, what that culture is looking for in a Nike City Connect uniform, but it just sounds very convoluted and underwhelming to me.
Yes. Up next, neighborhoods. The
Hmm.
pattern is a representation, and this is referencing again this color pattern that no one will see when the Orioles are playing the game.
I would describe this color pattern as like a pile of confetti almost.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
like
It does kind of have that.
it's like a bunch of odd shapes stacked on top of each other, all different colors. So just imagine some confetti piled up.
Yes, the pattern is a representation of the neighborhoods that shape our city. The grayscale exterior represents the surface level view people have of Baltimore. Look deeper,
That
and
is
you'll find the colorful interior that highlights the vibrancy of the city,
that is
which
some deep
basically
shit.
is repeating what they said in the opening paragraph.
Sure. That's yeah.
Yeah.
That level of meaning is that's great. I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
It's a plain black and white jersey with some crazy shit underneath. This is what they're going for.
Yes. Across the chest, Baltimore stretches fearlessly across the front of the jersey. There's no fear in those words, in those letters.
Yeah. Did they
Um,
get into the font itself, the letterpress?
yeah, I think so. Yes, it does. The bold typeface is inspired by the Globe collection and press at Maryland Institute College of Art and our homegrown art scene.
Yeah, the example I saw was it's kind of the famous turn of the century boxing posters
Yeah,
you've seen. It's that kind of typeface. The one cool thing I noticed, if you zoom into the details, it looks like it was printed on there. It looks like it was printed in ink because there's some
right,
distress, there's some imperfections, some distress marks, which I always think is cool, and I don't think we've seen in a jersey necessarily. So that part
right.
I think is kind of cool, but that is because I'm a graphic designer. I love typography. I don't think most people would even notice that shit, but I guess that's one positive note.
Now we move on to the script B, pulled from the Baltimore script logo on our road jersey.
Yeah, I
This
didn't
B
realize that.
represents the love we have for our city.
See, I didn't even notice they didn't have a hat that had a B logo on it. They have, of course, the cartoon bird, and then they have the O's, O apostrophe S, I believe. And I didn't realize
Yeah,
they didn't actually have a hat with a B. So I think it's cool they finally did it. But of course, it's a black hat with a white B. So
yeah,
it didn't strike me right away as being pulled from their jersey logo. It just looks like a stylized bee, and it doesn't really bring to mind Baltimore. Perhaps if it was orange, maybe that would look too much like a typical Orioles hat, but it would seem
right.
to make sense to me.
Only one more to go, thank God.
Yeah.
Because this jersey just kind of blows. You can't clip these wings. That's on the jock tag. That's right. Did I get it right this
You did
week?
get it right. Yeah.
Jock
That,
tag.
yeah, that's where they put corny phrases. This one's fine. I mean, it makes sense with the Orioles. I think that's a phrase they probably used for years. But to your point, this is part of the jersey that's tucked in. You'll never see it unless you're wearing it out in public and buy your own.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's not part of the overall aesthetic on the field. So
Yeah, this is originally penned by Baltimore-based poet and author.
that's
God,
fine. It doesn't matter.
Fidel. Well, his last name is Fidel. His first
Okay.
name is Kandawandi or something.
Well,
You can't clip these wings.
I think everyone does know that Baltimore is famous for its poets and writers, so
Yeah.
that's something that makes sense in a more global aspect than local. But I don't know. I'm underwhelmed by these. Are we ready to give our grades here?
Oh yeah. Should we rate this disaster?
I
And I
think this
think
is
you
gonna
know
be
what
pretty
mine's going to
easy.
be.
Yeah, I think we're gonna give these two middle fingers down each. Uh, I think they're boring. I think it would have been again a little more well received if they hadn't come on the heels of Cincinnati's all black, which I think were pretty good the way they executed those. But to see just yet another team go so right on the heels of that with the all black uniforms, is just kind of not creative and kind of boring. Sorry, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like I
Medium.
said, I think there's only one more of these Nike City Connect
Whew.
releases this year. It said sometime in June. I forget who it's going to be, but we'll be sure to break that down the moment it comes out for you, as
We
everyone is
sure
breathlessly
will.
awaiting our opinions on these.
Let's hope it's next week.
Yeah. Well, we can get it out of the way, and then it's no longer talked about for the rest of the season.
Yes.
So,
There we go.
Wordhole Media.